Hello and welcome to Improving Project Collaboration with Sage Construction Project Center. My name is Vincent Pate, and today we're going to go through a couple quick slides talking about what the Sage Construction Project Center is, how it's going to work with your different needs in your company and things like that. And then we'll go through a pretty quick demonstration, about 20 minutes, of what the product actually does and contains and how you can go. If any of this piques your interest and you'd like to get more information, I will give you all of our contact information at the end of how to get a more personalized one-on-one demo or anything from us on that regard. Now, the Project Center does work with our Sage 300 Construction Real Estate product and our Sage 100 Contractor. And really what it's designed around doing is giving you some very specific benefits in your company. We know that in the market, in the construction field, there are a lot of people out there who need mobile access. And without that mobile access, you're going to find yourself really lacking in access to a lot of information you need in a highly competitive marketplace. So we wanted to let you be more organized and productive in the field by giving a centralized location to access everything project related. And really, by centralized, what that means is Sage can be your third party that works as an intermediary between all of your entire project needs. If you're the general contractor, project manager, you have duties every day that revolve around working with your subcontractors, working with your architects, working with consultants or engineers. We want to minimize any risk of litigation or disputes or anything like that by allowing all of these different people to log in and collaborate with you in a single source project center, which is the name, that will allow those people to do the work they need to do, but they're tracked. Everyone's tracked. You are, they are, and this allows for a single source of information at the end of the day where you can pull up and know, when you said that this warranty was 1 year and we said it was 2 years, who said what, when, who downloaded what file. We have all that tracked in the system. Because you're collaborating with everyone, it also means that you're being a lot more efficient. Instead of having a log that you have to track and maintain, instead you can actually just do your work out in the cloud, in the field, from the project center, as well as everyone else, and it becomes a place to do business as opposed to a place to just record what business has been done. Gives you a lot more efficiency because of that. No duplicate entry, no waiting on transcoding one thing to another. It's all done, and hopefully give you a competitive advantage over your competition because you have a lot more efficiencies in your projects. You get your RFIs answered a day faster. Your items are submitted on time more frequently, all because you have a solution that is much quicker and allows you to have access. So what does it do specifically? Well, we do a lot of things. Part of the core is being able to track all of your project documentation. That's from your drawings, specs, RFIs, submittals, daily logs, meeting minutes, punch list items, to your cost management. How are my cost codes looking? What's my job cost to date? Let's do a commitment in the field because I have to buy something out. Let's create a change order on the fly as I find out that there's a discrepancy that came from one of my RFIs. All of the different project documentation storage in the cloud and available unlimited file storage. We wanted to make this completely collaborative because nowadays you're working with a lot of different people, and in the past you may have had 4 or 5 different systems: Excel, Sage, some homegrown web piece, email, phone calls. Let's just get them all together in one. Instead of having to rely on disparate systems, everyone logs into Project Center. The field people do their work. The people at back office do their work. Subcontractors can do their work in the same system. Communicating via email, it does send emails out to everyone, but not being email-driven, taking that story to a single centralized location so we can know exactly what's going on and pull up that history. And at the end of the day, get all that information to the owner in a closeout file that has all the information they need to see. So let's take a look. So Sage Construction Project Center has 2 versions of it that we'll cover today. Number 1, we have the Project Center in the web base. Now, think of Project Center's web version as the, the main software site here. This is where you can access it from any device, as long as you have an internet connection and a web browser, which would be pretty much any tablet, smartphone, laptop, desktop out there. And you can access this from anywhere. And not just you, all your subcontractors, all of your architects, you set up who has access to this, what security everyone has, can they see, what projects can they see, and within each project, what areas can they enter, what can they respond to. It's all tracked, and you as the GC are going to control all that. We also have an app available, Apple today, Android very shortly, and this app is going to take some of this stuff that is more used on smartphones or in places that might not have great internet signal and allow you to just do that work in a more environment set natively to that. So the app is today going to access some documents and do daily logs and things like that, and tomorrow we'll add some more pieces to it as well. Now, as far as Project Center goes, we have 4 major portions that we're going to cover, and we'll do it, pretty quickly for time reasons. But the main areas are, of course, storing all of your documents in the field. What are your plans, specs, photos? As you get your documents in, we give you unlimited file storage to store them. So within here, I can come in and create my folder structures to say, here's my bulletins or addendums. Here's my current plans in the software. I can give access to my subcontractors to specific folders that, they would need to see, whereas maybe my architect will get the architectural and be able to update those, but my subcontractors would keep track of the mechanical ones or the electrical. And all the documents and all the revisions and any sketch markups you do will be available on this to download and make viewable, and also know who has looked at them, who added them, who has changed them. We track everything. So all your documents can be stored here in the cloud. And right from the pre-construction side of things, you can actually set up and do invitation to bid. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into the invitation to bid section, mostly because we have later on this month a specific webcast for the invitation to bid. But as a quick teaser of this, note that you can bring in right from the pre-construction side what scope of work you're going to be doing, who are my subcontractors or consultants or suppliers that I want to bid out to, and allow them to track whether or not they're going to say yes, no, maybe, not answered, and then I can call them up and make sure that they're getting me their bids and all that information so that they can become full project members. It is tied completely to the Project Center piece, so after everyone has been awarded their bids and you select them, there is an award bidders where they just flow on right from the bid management side into Construction Project Center. Again, I won't spend too much time on that because we do have another webcast dedicated specifically for it. So if you are interested in knowing more about the bid management side of things, do email me at the end and I'll get you a link to the recording coming up later this month plus last month as well. Now, moving on from tracking of documents, because that's always important, but I think the day-to-day work in Project Center is most important to really focus on what that is for your people. So allowing your people in the field, whether or not it's you, if you're a project manager, project assistant, being able to track your RFIs, your submittals, your punch list, all that kind of stuff. Your superintendents can pull out and do their daily logs from their tablet, from their smartphone, and do all that as well. But we're designed around being fully collaborative. So not only do I have the ability to have my own RFI log that I track and note what's open, what hasn't been answered, when is it due, but I can also allow my subcontractors to have their own RFI logs in the system and track that individually with them. Think of your electrical subcontractor. You give them access to the site. They log in. They can only see the projects they're working with you on. They get access only to their folders that you've given them security access to, one of which would be an RFI subcontractor folder. They can pull in and have their own RFI log tracked within your software. So if they have questions about a wall outlet, let's say, I pull up their RFI number 13, and they can ask a question of you. The system is smart enough to say, hey, GC is in charge of this project. Subcontractors have to go through them. is it the project manager they have to ask the questions to. You set that up yourself, but they cannot go directly to the architect. They got to go through you. Therefore, projects get created. The subcontractor asks their specific questions. You know, the wall outlet shown does not conform to whatever that is. They can attach any files throughout the system. So if they want to take a picture from their camera phone, if they're running this on their tablet, let's say, they got the camera on the tablet, they take a picture, they can upload that to the RFI, and they can also reference documents that they've been given security access to from the document sort portion. And as they put in their questions and anything else they want to do, they hit transmit, and it sends an email to you so that you can then respond to it. And whether or not you're just going to respond with a, well, it doesn't conform because you're looking at the wrong spec section, well, that's a simple answer. You don't need to track that on your RFI log. But if the answer is it doesn't, well, you're right, I need to check on this, you just hit this little forward button, and it copies their RFI to your log, gives it your new number, but ties them together, and automatically updates it so it's sending this to your architect. And then you can then go in and clean up the question, you know, how it does not conform, here's why it doesn't conform, and from there, attach any other documents you need, hit transmit, and we'll send an email over to your architect or engineer, whoever you're sending this over to, and they'll be able to quickly respond through the email, either taking them directly into the project center, to the RFI, or to a little quick website that allows them to just answer in. And as they answer in, we can track not just the communications that are going to the main contacts of these RFIs, but you could CC other people. Other people can put in their 2 cents if it's necessary. So when this says move to north wall, maybe another person involved in this might say, well, hey, keep in mind that we also need to take care of this. That would change part of the project, so we need to make a change order for that. That could all be translated back and forth. And again, it's all about tracking your documents and your projects. So once you get it done, we wanted to make it quick and easy. You check mark it, you hit close. It emails everyone involved that this is the answer that we found on it. And as I mentioned earlier, if we need to move stuff and create a change order, we got to create new PCO button right there at the top of the screen. Creates the new potential change order, links it to the RFI, and allows you to flow right into that section of being able to say, well, what's the scope change? In this case, maybe it's an electrical change. We're going to need to, due to the conformities that we were just talking about earlier, we might need to go in and either make a change to my electrical subcontractor's work, or, hey, our material is going to end up changing on this because we now have to use a higher quality electrical due to the distance traveled now at this point. So we might just go ahead and say, this is going to be a wiring upgrade for distance. We're going to say it's going to be an extra $1,500. We're going to update, one of our electrical subcontract. That's a bad example because we're talking about hardware. I'll just pick a random one there. By the way, I didn't see one here in my electrical that I needed to access, so we could always do add new cost code item and create one on the fly and push that in if I wanted to. But creating my change event, put it into the system, and allowing it to go through its approval process, which it could be as complex as you need or simple as you want it to be. The standard, though, architect signs off on it, owner signs off on it, PM signs off on it, and accounting signs off on it. And we'll track each of those different steps. We have architect approval, owner approval, your own approval, and when it gets all the way through this process to the change order section where you're actually creating a finalized change order with signature, you have your accounting sign off on it, it does a release to accounting, and it syncs right back up with accounting. Speaking of which, we sync up with accounting on a number of different places within the software. Actually, I should probably save that. And with accounting, we do connect in a couple different places. We've got the subcontracts and purchase orders, your commitments, available to be created in the cloud or synced in with maybe an existing job where we'll pull in those commitments from job costs, let's say, to pull them in and allow you to see where they're at. And it's bidirectional information. So when you're creating your commitments and you're tracking them in Project Center, once they've been sent back into accounting and released, you'll also have the ability to see later on, have they been invoiced? Here's these little pieces down in the corner here. Have they been invoiced yet? What's been retained? How much has been paid? As a project manager, this could be very important to know on a specific commitment if I'm talking to a subcontractor and he's claiming he hasn't gotten paid for something, he doesn't want to do work. Well, I can pull this in and say, well, we cut you a check in the system. The amount's paid right now. Let's go talk to our people and find out why that's not been communicated to you. So all that information is in the system, and it's bidirectionally grabbing it out of accounting. Just like the change order process, we have commitment change orders as well, and we also give you a quick view of what's going on with your project right from here as well, allowing you to see what your estimate was that was created, pulling in your schedule of values or your contract that you have for your job, what's been billed so far on that, what's been retained, cost codes broken down all the way to the category level if necessary, but allowing you to see not just each category or cost code, but what's been invoiced so far, what's been job costed so far, and you can kind of see that progress as things move along with your job. And if you want to see everything at a quick glance on a job, just pull up the summary and you can see your contract with estimate, with billing statuses, retainages, and all that amount right there for you. Going back over to the project management section, though, a couple last things to highlight here before we pull up the app. This is designed around having access to all of your project documents. So earlier I did RFIs. Note that we can also track our submittals, and if you want your submittals to be imported in from Excel, let's say, you can do that. We have an importer from Excel, or you can even create templates in the cloud to import in all your submittal items and track who's responsible for them, and even send them automatic emails and notifications letting them know that things are coming due. So if you happen to have a subcontractor that's running late, we can send an email 10 days before the submittal needs to be turned in, 5 days before, the day of, and make sure that these people are turning in their submittal items. And again, the whole approval process is very customizable on how you want to do this. A basic system, though, you can pull it in and say, this is the person who's going to submit the items. They can attach all the files for submitting. Here are the items they're going to be submitting. And from there as well, also track all the responses back and forth. Whose ball and court are we at? Right now, these are something out there for approval, and the little return icon there is telling me that it's waiting for my architect. And that architect can then log in and actually return the items right through the submittal item process, sending me a transmittal and tracking everything. And we can run reports and schedule out reports as well to go along with everything we've been talking about. So getting a submittal ball and court report emailed out every Tuesday morning to your owner, your architect, and for yourself, letting you know, here's all my open submittal items, here's who's ball and court, here's how long they've been sitting out there. Here's all my open RFIs, who we're waiting on, and what date. So with that, we track everything, we get reports, and it's all done that way. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't show you guys the app that's going along with this. So I'm going to connect my tablet. Let me connect my tablet over to my computer here and show you the app. Should be popping up here in just a second. There we go. Now, once I get this connected here, let's go into Project Center. Now, the app I'm going to be showing you here on my iPad. Note that we also have this available. It works just fine on a smartphone as well. Today, it's Apple iOS coming out in first month or two of 2017. We'll also have it available for Android. And right now, the app does a couple very specific things. Earlier, I let you know offline capability and smartphone access are great, but the design is to do daily logs and document access, and we're going to be adding more very shortly as well. So right now, I could take my dailies and do them right from my tablet here. Pulling it up, it'll automatically bring up today's date as I start it, automatically update the weather based on the zip code of the project, grabbing all of the relevant information about the weather without me having to go and fill it out one by one. I can capture all my additional information, materials, visitors, comments, come over to the attachment section and do my walkthroughs, take pictures right from my camera, We got the add button there with a take a photo or choose from a library to grab it right out of your camera phone or roll to do your walkthroughs or snap a shot of a safety violation or whatever you need to do there. And then track all of your time activities as well. What subcontractors came out there and worked with you? What were they doing? Was there a second tier? How many people? How many hours? All tracked within here for reporting purposes. So if you ever need to go back and say what happened a month ago, we can do so. And by the way, if you are looking for actual time capture in the field, we do have an option for that. In fact, we have a webcast coming out in 2 days specifically about that. So if you're looking for time capture in the field, email me, let me know, I'll get you some information on that. Lastly, document access markup. So right there from the tablet, you can pull this up, access your architecturals. You can do compare and contrast with different documents as well, or just pull up a document that you have. Maybe it's my AO3, so I can see it while I'm out there on the site. I pull up my tablet, look at this here, see it, do my markups, simple markups at this current moment. But you can say, hey, you know, look here, email this, take action, and that document's done. Now, one last piece about the software, I did a lot of work there, and we're tracking a lot of stuff. It would be remiss if I didn't show you that we have the ability to grab all this and get it into a flash drive or back onto your server so you can turn it in as a closeout file to whomever needs it, like the owner. So it could do a request closeout right from Sage Construction Project Center, and what that'll do is if I pull up my saved files here, it actually give you an offline web page that you can then put on a flash drive and turn in along with your closeout deliverables. It gives you all of the documentation information that we've been dealing with and all the metadata. So instead of a big PDF dump that you're turning in, I can then say, here's my plans and my plumbing drawings, and I can see the plumbing drawing plus any revisions that were put on, what date was it issued, what is the actual file itself. I can then go into the project management side and see all of my punch list items that I put in. I can pull up my old meeting minutes from here so I can see what happened in my safety meeting in 2015. I can go to my RFIs and say, well, this pipe in the way, what was that all about? What was the question? What was the answer? What were the files attached? What were all the replies? We grab all that metadata in that closeout file to make it available to you and to your owner and to anyone else that needs it. So as I said, with time reasons, I may not be able to get to everything you guys wanted to see today, but my information is right there at the top of the screen, vincent.pate@sage.com. I'm going to spend the next 5-10 minutes or so answering any questions I see in the Q&A. If there's anything I don't get to, feel free to email me and I'll get you answered. And if you want to know more about the Sage Bid Management, you can email me. I'll get you that recording or the webcast that's coming up, and same thing for any time capture. Lastly, before I get into the Q&A, if you want to get any information on pricing or next steps on getting this, contact your Sage account manager at the 800-858-7095. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for attending for the recording side, and I'm going to switch over to the Q&A.